When people think about North Carolina, they often picture its beautiful beaches. However, the waters around this area have been feared by sailors for centuries, earning the nickname Graveyard of the Atlantic. This maritime graveyard holds a long history of missing vessels and their crews. Shifting shorelines along with unpredictable weather have claimed thousands of ships, yet some wrecks stand out, and the Carroll a.deering is a perfect example of it. The puzzling case of this ship remains one of the most popular ghost ship stories of the 20th century. Welcome back to Nautical Depths, and let's explore what happened to Carroll a.deering and its crew. The Carroll a.deering, a big 5-masted sailing ship, was discovered empty and in strange conditions off the North Carolina coast in 1921. The crew was gone, and the ship was stuck on Diamond Shoals. Even after thorough investigations by the Coast Guard, FBI, and others, no clear proof was found to clarify why the crew vanished or what happened before the ship got stuck in the dangerous graveyard of the Atlantic. The mystery of the Deering is still one of the sea's lasting puzzles, frequently mentioned with stories about the ghost ships. Named Carroll a.deering after the owner's son, the G.G. Deering Company constructed this schooner in 1919. It was the final creation of the G.G. Deering Company, known as the oldest active shipbuilder in the country at that time. This massive cargo ship measured 255 feet in length and 45 feet in width. Built with top-notch materials, it featured an oak ceiling, hard pine planking, and a stylish interior made of mahogany, empress, and ash woods. The ship boasted Oregon masts that were 108 feet tall, accompanied by 46-foot-long topmasts. Luxurious additions included a bathroom with open plumbing and cabins illuminated by electricity and heated with steam. For wooden boat enthusiasts, the Carroll a.deering was a dream come true. Miss Carroll Deering stood at the ship's front, christening it with a large bouquet of roses, scattering them as the vessel descended down the ways. The Deering was prepared for a regular commercial trip. Its designated cargo was coal at the busy docks of Norfolk, Virginia. In the summer of 1920, with a high demand for coal, the ship set sail for Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The crew, a mix of experienced and less seasoned sailors, was led by Captain William H. Merritt, a veteran mariner, chosen for his knowledge of the planned route. The journey to Brazil, down the Atlantic coast and around Cape Hatteras, was known for trade winds that the Deering, with its 5 masts and full sails, could utilize. Arriving in Rio, the ship unloaded coal, and the crew worked hard to restock for the return trip. However, Captain Merritt fell seriously ill, requiring him and his son, the first mate, to leave the ship. Captain Willis B. Wormel took charge, with Charles B. McClellan as the first mate. The change in leadership added a new dynamic to the crew. Starting its return in December 1920, the Deering, now carrying no cargo, encountered other vessels along the way. The last contact, near Cape Lookout Lightship off North Carolina on January 31, 1921, revealed the ship had lost its anchors. The crew's behavior during this interaction was notably disorganized and agitated, marking a mysterious turn of events. The last time the Carroll a.deering was seen by the Cape Lookout Lightship keeper. This last sighting is a crucial piece of evidence about where the ship and its crew were. During this sighting, a crew member used a megaphone to say the ship lost its anchors. This was odd for several reasons. First, it wasn't the captain or an officer speaking, breaking maritime rules of protocols. Several days later, on February 4, 1921, the Deering was found stuck on Diamond Shoals, a dangerous area off Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, known for shipwrecks. When the Coast Guard reached the stranded ship, it intensified the mystery. The ship was completely empty, not just drifting, but stuck on the shoals. It suggested the crew couldn't navigate away or had left before it got stuck. On boarding, the Coast Guard found a strange scene. The crew's personal stuff and navigation tools were gone, hinting at a hurried evacuation. The ship's log and records, crucial for understanding its final days, were also missing. Any intriguing detail was the warm stove in the gallery, suggesting a quick abandonment. This makes people speculate that whatever made the crew leave happened suddenly and maybe unexpectedly. The missing lifeboats were a key clue, suggesting a deliberate departure instead of a sudden disaster. This raised the possibility that the crew left willingly or under pressure, hoping for safety or forced onto another vessel. No bodies of survivors were found, and no distress calls were recorded. The crew's disappearance without a trace was perplexing, especially considering the weather wasn't reported as exceptionally dangerous before the discovery. The warm stove implies a quick abandonment, but not in the midst of an immediate disaster, as the crew had had time to get ready to leave. The absence of clear signs of violence or foul play on the ship created more questions than answers. Without signs of a struggle or physical clues, investigators struggled to piece together events. After the discovery, news of the deserted a.deering spread, sparking public imagination and concern. Newspapers speculated wildly. Was it mutiny, piracy, or something supernatural? The Coast Guard and later government inquiries tried to reconstruct the a.dearing's final days, aiming to solve why a well-equipped ship with an experienced captain was left empty. The warm stove, missing lifeboats, and absent logs and instruments hinted at a story still unknown, a maritime mystery from a time before modern tracking and communication could record the crew's fate. The U.S. government immediately looked into the disappearance of the a.dearing's crew. 5 government departments, Commerce, Treasury, Justice, Navy, and State, each conducted their investigations. They found that besides the a.deering, several other ships had vanished in the same period. Each department had its theory on the crew's disappearance, ranging from mutiny to piracy to a communist plot. A raid on a Communist Front organization in New York uncovered potential evidence. However, it wasn't enough to link the organization to the a.deering. Another investigation into an Italian ship sinking in the same area during a hurricane led to theories. Some suggested the a.deering crew mutinied to avoid a storm, perishing in lifeboats. Others thought the crew abandoned the ship after grounding, getting swept out to sea and drowning. One theory proposed the crew left, fearing impending storms, and got rescued by a nearby ship, the SS Hewitt. This was backed by distress flares found on the a.deering. Ironically, the Hewitt also disappeared during the hurricane. The US government favored the hurricane theory, but critics argued both ships were moving away from the storm. Some authors pointed out the ship's state indicated an orderly evacuation, not a panicked one. Captain O.W. Parker and Miss Wormel believed piracy was the cause. A fisherman found a message in a bottle claiming the a.deering was captured by an oil-burning boat. Later, it was revealed to be a fake, but many still believed in piracy. Conflicts between Captain Wormel and the first mate, McClellan, led to the mutiny theory. Some believed the crew mutinied, especially since the man seen at Cape Lookout wasn't the captain. The idea was that Wormel and McClellan were already dead, leading to a mutiny. The US government's investigation concluded in late 1922 without official findings. The fate of the missing crew remains a mystery, with various theories including supernatural ones. The popular belief is that the crew perished in rough seas after taking to lifeboats. However, this doesn't explain why an experienced crew would abandon a seaworthy ship during a storm, or why the ship's sails and masts were undamaged. Artifacts from the a.deering are displayed at the Graveyard of the Atlantic Museum in Hatteras. The mystery of the Carroll a.deering and the inexplicable disappearance of its crew remains an enigma. Despite numerous theories, the truth still eludes us. As the tale of the ghost ship endures, so does the speculation, leaving us with more questions than answers. For more videos about maritime history or mysteries, subscribe to Nautical Depths and hit the bell icon to stay updated.